A2 Media Theories, Postcolonialism. What is postcolonialism? When studying the representation of race, it is important to be aware that the representations of non-white identity groups have changed over time. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, Britain and other European powers held colonial empires in Africa, Asia, and South America. These colonies were often built upon the profits of slavery and the exploitation of natural resources. Okay. Colonialists produced media which naturalised colonialism. They were bringing a civilizing influence to colonised countries. So they basically presented themselves as being a good force in these other countries. Postcolonialism emphasises the importance of the cultural, economic, political and military dominance of this past. So remember, there are not many, in fact there's no colonies anymore, but the fact that the way the media represents certain groups suggests is hinting back at that. It's still saying that the non-white groups are not as important as the white colonialists, the European colonialists who went over there and said they were bringing a civilizing influence to them. You must remember that no colonial empires remain in existence. We are in a post-colonial era. The term itself can be seen as problematic as it suggests colonialism is a thing of the past. And as we will discuss in class, and you will see on this podcast, that is not actually true. The absence of non-white images in the media visually suggests the dominance of the white culture. So the fact we don't see ethnic minorities represented very much suggests that the whites are in charge because they control who's shown. Orientalism. Edward Said, 1995, introduced this concept of Orientalism. It is a perspective that suggests the East and the Orient, such as China, Japan, and other Far Eastern countries, are represented in a way that suggests both fear and fascination with them. Dysphoria. Dysphoria identity is the result of forced or voluntary migration. These are terms we will use in class and you can see them in action. Basically, it's people experience a sense of belonging to a culture which is other to the dominant culture of the country of residence. So people coming from country far, let's say the Eastern countries, Eastern Europe countries, they have a different culture to that when they're living in Britain is different to the culture that is in the UK. So that causes a feeling of dysphoria, not being able to despond. It comes from the word despondent, okay? So they're not sure where they fit. These feelings of otherness can be emphasised by a lack of contemporary media of any cultural representations of their lives or experience. They don't see things that they experience in the media of the country they are currently residing in. Alvarado, 1987, he suggested that there are 4 types of representations for members of the black community. The first one, the humorous. There we go, they play the humorous character, often to the white, straight man. The exotic or sexually promiscuous. So often women are this, where they're represented, black women are represented as being sexually promiscuous, therefore exotic looking. You could say this mixes in with the male gaze as well, that we discussed in feminism. The pitied, black women are there to black characters. So this is a scene from Precious, the film, that black characters are there to be pitied, to be looked after by the white power. And also the dangerous, that's so 4. They are there as danger. Your homework is to find an example of each of the 4 types of representations of the black community. Explain how they demonstrate the type of demonstration. So you need to find an example of the black character who's humorous, one who's exotic or sexually promiscuous, pitied or dangerous, and explain how they show it. You can talk about the mise en scene, you talk about the signifiers, the signs, etc. This is postcolonialism continued. Black and Asian people are often represented in negative roles, such as the villain or the helper to the white character. This is shown in the narrative function, so in the narrative of the text. This influences the representation as well. Representation in soap operas and dramas often rely on myths that relate to the colonial past, such as the Asian shopkeeper, or they also look at arranged marriages in the Asian race for a lot of the time. And remember, stereotypes and representations are often constructed as binary opposites. suggesting that individuals can be divided into two diametrically opposed groups, such as black and white, British and immigrant. Okay, so that's such representations exaggerate the differences and minimise the similarities between people in different groups and can be seen as legitimising often negative attitudes